Good day everyone. Our topic is about work. And the table of contents of work in the chapter 6 is 6.1 changes, fears and questions, 6.2 impacts on employment, 6.2.1 job destruction and creation, 6.2.2 changing skills and skill levels, 6.2.3 telecommuting, 6.2.4 a global workforce, 6.3 employee communication and monitoring, 6.31 learning about job applicants, 6.3.2 risks and rules for work and personal communications. Chapter 6.1 Changes, Fears, and Questions. The introduction of computers in the workplace generated many fears. Mass unemployment due to increased efficiency. Computer systems and the internet provide quick, reliable access to information so that we work smarter and more efficiently. The need for increased skill and training widens the earning gap, but people still do the work. Architects use computer-aided design systems, but they still design buildings. Accountants use spreadsheets and thus have more time for thinking, planning, and analysis. But will computers design buildings one day? So, like when computers started being used in workplaces, sobrang daming tao na nai-stress kasi they thought it would lead to mass unemployment. Kasi nga, computers make things more efficient and productive. But to be honest, computers and the internet actually help us work smarter, not harder, kasi everything is faster and more reliable. Pero, human work is still super important, like architects use CAD or CAD or parang mga computer tools to help them design buildings faster. Pero sila pa rin yung nag-iisip ng concept and creativity. Accountants naman use spreadsheets para less hassle sa computations, so they have more time for analysis and planning. The thing is, dahil tech is so advanced, parang the need for skills and training went higher. Kaya yung gap between low and high earners lumaki din. Kasi 'di ba, the more skilled, the higher the pay. Pero question is like, what if someday computers will na be the ones designing buildings or doing creative stuff? For now, humans pa rin ang best kasi we have creativity and judgment that machines can't fully replicate. Medyo mind-blowing, di ba? New trends still generating fears. Employers' use of technology to monitor their employees. It could affect productivity, privacy, and morale. Why do employers monitor employees? Should monitoring be limited? Telecommuting. The phenomenon of working at a distance from the traditional company office or factory connected in cyberspace. Effects of telecommunication. Offshoring equals hiring people or companies in other countries to perform services that workers in one's home country used to do, to eliminate a huge number of jobs. So, like, there are these new workplace trends na sobrang nakakaba for some employees kasi tech is evolving super fast. Employer monitoring. Companies use tech para i-monitor yung mga workers nila. Parang it's for security and productivity, pero sometimes it feels like nakaka-invade na ng privacy, di ba? It can also affect morale, like parang walang trust. So the question is, hanggang saan ba dapat ang monitoring? Should there be limits? Telecommuting, this is like when you work from home or kahit saan basta connected ka online. Super convenient niya for many, pero it's also connected to offshoring, which means hiring people from other countries to do the jobs na dati dito ginagawa. And let's be real, it eliminates a lot of local jobs, kaya ang daming affected. So with these trends, parang we need to find that balance between maximizing tech and making sure employees are protected and secure din. 6.2 Impacts on employment. Job destruction. As the use of ATMs grew, the number of bank tellers dropped by about 37% between 1983 and 1993. Reduced need for telephone operators, meter readers. The number of telephone switchboard operators dropped from 421,000 in 1970 to 164,000 in 1996. The jobs of building, selling, and repairing typewriters have disappeared. Railroads computerized their dispatch operations and eliminated hundreds of employees. Travel agencies closed as consumers made airplane reservations online. The job of 35,000 electric meter readers disappeared as utility companies installed devices that send meter readings to company computers. Technology monitors vending machines and oil wells, reducing the number of people needed to check on them in person. Shopping on the internet and self-service checkout systems in store reduced the need for sales clerk. So, grabe guys, ang technology has really changed the game when it comes to job. Like, here's the sitch. Bank tellers, dati super dami nilang needed. Pero nung dumami yung ATMs, the number of bank tellers bumaba by 37% from 1983 to 1993. Telephone operators, yung mga switchboard operators from 421K in 1970, naging 164K na lang by 1996 kasi hello, automated na lahat. Typewriter industry, let's be real. Wala na masyadong work sa paggagawa at pag-aayos ng typewriters. Computers na kasi ngayon. Railroads, nag-computerize na yung dispatch system ng trains kaya ang daming jobs ang nawala. Sa travel agencies naman, close na rin kasing marami kasi people just book flights online na lang. Super easy pa. Meter readers, yung mga nagbabasa ng electric meters, wala na masyado kasi may automated devices na. Sa monitoring, tech na lang ang nagtetrack ng vending machines and oil wells, kaya less need for people to check in person. Retail, thanks to online shopping and self-checkout kiosks, mas kaunti na ang demand for sales clerks. So like, tech is super efficient and convenient, pero it also means na some jobs are disappearing. Kaya people really need to adapt and upskill. Hundreds of music stores closed and jobs in the printing industry declined as music magazines, newspapers, and books went digital. Digital cameras put film processors out of work. Kodak, founded in 1880, laid off thousands of employees and filed for bankruptcy protection in 2012. As use of cell phones increased, the number of employees in the wired telecommunication industry dropped by more than 120,000. Technology increases productivity. Humans are a resource for companies, while the number of telephone operators was dropping by more than 60% between 1970 and 1996. The number of long-distance calls increased from 9.8 billion to 94.9 billion. Accessible technology eliminates some jobs but creates others. The World Wide Web, or WWW, contributed to the creation of about 100,000 new internet-related jobs in 1996. By 1997, more than 109,000 people work in the cellular communications industry in the United States. By 1998, the Semiconductor Industry Association reported that chip makers employed 242,000 workers directly in US and 3 million indirectly. So, sa music and printing naman, like music stores, na-wipe out na kasi everything's digital na. Meron ng Spotify, like Spotify vibes. Same with magazines and books, super outdated na niya. Sa cameras naman yung mga film processors, na-outshine sila ng digital cameras kasi even Kodak, the original, had to lay off thousands and magpa-file na ng bankruptcy. Sa telecom, since uso na yung cellphones, more than 120k job sa wired telecom industry, nawala sila pero mas convenient naman kasi. Productivity glow up like with technology, we can do more with less. Long distance calls jump from 9.8 billion to 94.9 billion kahit konti na lang yung telephone operators. Efficiency goal pa rin siya. Sa job swaps, syempre, will some jobs disappear, meron din namang bago. Sa 1996, the web created 100k new internet jobs. 1997, 100k 9 people na ang employed sa cellular communications. Sa 1998 naman, chip makers employed 242k direct workers and 3 million indirectly. Grabe, ang dami. So, parang ganito na siya. Tech changes the game and ikaw, you just gotta keep up, okay? So, flex those adaptive skills. Discussion questions. What jobs have been eliminated due to technology? Like, grabe, diba? So, many jobs na replaced because of technology. For example, wala na masyadong travel agents kasi we just book online, diba? Same with bank tellers din, meter readers, and even Kodak employees. Nung nauso yung digital cameras, automation talaga is a game changer. What jobs that were once high skill are now low skill because of technology? To be honest, ang daming tasks that is super technical. Now, parang anyone can do with apps like bookkeeping, graphic design, Canva, or basic coding na may drag and drop tools na ngayon. It's wild how technology makes it easy. What new jobs have been created because of technology? Tech created so many cool jobs like influencer and content creators lang. Legit job na. Plus, we have data analysts or data analysts, app developers, cybersecurity experts, and even social media managers. Career goals, diba? Do automated systems mean fewer jobs for low-skilled workers? Yeah. Medyo sad kasi machines can do basic tasks faster and cheaper. Pero meron din new opportunities like maintaining those machines or supervising systems. You just need to level up your skills para stay competitive. Do automated systems mean fewer jobs for high-skilled workers? Not naman totally mawawala, pero they might shift. Like, some high-skill roles baka ma-replaced by AI. Diagnosing simple medical conditions. Pero it pushes people to focus on more complex and strategic tasks. Will human intelligence in employment be devalued? Honestly, hindi naman devalued but refocused. Like, machines can handle repetitive stuff. So, humans needs to step up sa creative and problem-solving areas. Think outside the box vibes. Parang ganun. In short, you just need to keep adapting and learning kasi that's the key to staying relevant in the tech-driven world. Future-ready tayo dapat. Job creation. Lower prices increase demand and create jobs. Music industry changed from serving the wealthy to serving the masses, employing more than just musicians. A few hundred years ago, listening to professional quality music was a rare luxury for most people. Technology, including electricity, radio, CDs, DVDs, iPods, smartphones, data compression algorithms, and the web brought the cost down so everyone can enjoy music. The effect on employment? Tens of thousands of musicians make a living and some make a fortune in jazz, country, classical, zydeco, new age, rock, and rap music.
Okay, so here's the thing. Technology doesn't just replace jobs, it also creates tons of new ones, especially when it makes stuff more adorable. Like lower prices mean more people can afford things, which increases demand, and that demand creates new job. Parang snowball effect lang. More access, more opportunities. Example, in the music industry, before, music was super exclusive, like pang rich people lang. Pero now, because of technology like radios, series, streaming apps, and Spotify, everyone can enjoy it, even on their phone. Diba? Kahit sino can stream music now. That's because tech made it cheaper and easier to access. Impact on jobs. This shift created so many new jobs. It's not just about performance anymore. Ang dami ng roles like music producers, sound engineers, app developers, and social media managers for artists. Plus, musicians from all genres like rock, rap, jazz, or even indie can now make a living or even get famous. So, technology didn't just kill old jobs, it leveled up the industry. You just have to adapt and ride the wave. The key is to find where you fit in this new ecosystem. Unemployment rates fluctuate. Growth of computers has been steady, while unemployment has fluctuated widely. Many new jobs created by computer technology are ones not imagined or possible before. Computer game designers, professional computer game players, and video game coaches. So, like the unemployment rate can change a lot, right? But one thing that's been pretty steady is the growth of computers and technology. Unemployment can go up and down depending on the economy, but computer technology has been creating a lot of new jobs that didn't even exist before. Think about it. Now, we have jobs like computer game designers, professional gamers, and even video game coaches. These are careers that wouldn't have been possible without the rise of technology. It's crazy how computers in gaming have made such a huge impact on the job market. Unemployment has a lot to do with an economy's ability to adapt to change. Technology did not cause the Great Depression in the 1930s. Historians attribute the depression to a variety of factors. The new Federal Reserve Bank's inept manipulation of interest rates and greed. Job churn, roughly 30 million jobs opening and closing in the US each year, is typical of a flexible economy. In stagnant economies, people do not change jobs often. In the United States, in the 10 years between 1993 and 2002, a decade of increasing computer and web use, 309.9 million jobs ended and 327.7 million jobs were added for a net increase of 17.8 million jobs. So unemployment is super connected to how well an economy can adjust to change, especially with tech and stuff. For example, technology wasn't the reason the Great Depression happened in the 1930s. Historians says it was more about things like bad decisions made by the new Federal Reserve Bank with interest rates and well, just a lot of greed. Now, here's something interesting. The thing called job churn in the US, about 30 million jobs open and close every year. That's actually a good sign that the economy is flexible and changing, which is normal. But in economies that are stuck and not growing much, people don't change jobs as often. Here's where it gets from 1993 to 2002, when computers and the web were growing fast, there were 309.9 million jobs lost, but 327.7 million new jobs were created. So overall, that's a net increase of 17.8 million jobs. This just shows how even though tech can replace some jobs, it also opens up a ton of new opportunities. Long term, net social gains from technology are not of much interest to a person who is fired or cannot find a job. The loss of a job is immediate and personal, can be devastating to the individual and his or her family. When large numbers of people lost their jobs in one small community or within a short time, difficult social problems occur. There is a need for people, individual workers, employers, and communities and institutions, like schools, to be flexible and to plan for change. Unemployment in many European countries is often higher than in the United States or Organizations for Economic Cooperation and Development OECD. The differences have more to do with differences in flexibility in the economies and other political, social, and economic factors. The Organization for European Economic Cooperation or OEEC was formed in 1948 to administer American and Canadian aid in the framework of the Marshall Plan for the reconstruction of Europe after World War II. Okay, so like while tech is super cool and all it helps society in the long run, it's not really something that helps someone who's just been fired or can't find a job, right? Like losing your job is super personal and can really suck, especially for the person and their family. Imagine if a bunch of people in your area or a company lost their jobs in a short time, it can lead to some serious social problems like crime or mental health issues. So it's important for people, whether it's workers, employers, or even communities, to be flexible and plan ahead for these kinds of changes. School and institutions should be on it too, helping people learn new skills for the future. When you compare the US to Europe, though, unemployment is usually higher there, like all the time. The OECD says it's mainly because European economies are just less flexible. There are also other political, social, and economic things going on that make it harder. So the Organization for European Economic Cooperation was created back in 1948 to help Europe rebuild after World War II with aid from the US and Canada. It was a big deal, but those past still affect their economy today.
We earning less than in 1970s. Economists agree that the average hourly pay of manufacturing workers quadrupled in constant dollars between 1909 and the mid 1970s. Since the 1970s, wage decreased by 10%, but fringe benefits increased. People work fewer hours since the Industrial Revolution. Many people continue to work more hours while income rises because they have higher expectations. They consider the lifestyle now possible to be essentials. Aspect of the tax and compensation structure encourage employers to have regular workers work every time rather than hire additional employees, according to Cornell University labor economist Ronald Ehrenberg. Decrease in take-home pay may be due to other factors. Increased taxes, purchasing power increases as prices fall. Wages in the past were better. Back in the day, like from 1909 to the mid 1970s, manufacturing workers saw their hourly pay actually quadruple when adjusted for inflation. Wages have dropped, but after the 70s, wages started to drop by around 10%. Sounds kinda bad, right? But there's a twist. Fringe benefits, stuff like healthcare or retirement plan, started increasing. So while your pay might not be as high, you might get more perks now. Working hours since the Industrial Revolution, people have been working fewer hours. Back then, everyone was grinding 24/7, but now people aren't putting in any or as many hours at work, which is a good thing. Expectations and overtime, even though people work less, a lot of them still work overtime because their expectations for lifestyle are higher. Like you want the latest gadgets, travel the world, live in a nice place. Yeah, that stuff adds up. And because of tax rules, it's actually cheaper for companies to have workers do overtime rather than hire more people. Other factors, there might also be other reasons why take home pay feels lower, like higher taxes. But the good news is that
Despite wages being lower, purchasing power has actually increased because the prices for things have gone down. So in short, we might be making less money now compared to back in the 1970s. But because of extra perks, a more flexible schedule and falling prices, it's not as bad as it seems. People just need to adjust their lifestyle expectations. Changing skills and skill levels. New products and services based on computer technology create jobs in design, marketing, manufacture, sales, customer service, repair, and maintenance. But the new jobs created from computers are different from the jobs eliminated. Computers eliminate a much wider variety of jobs than any single new technological advance in the past. The transition to new jobs is more difficult because of the broad impact. New jobs, such as computer engineer and system analyst, jobs require a college degree, where jobs such as bank tellers, customer service representatives, and clerks did not. Some companies are more willing to hire people without specific skills when they can train new people quickly and use automated support systems. So, like new technology equals new jobs, right? Thanks to computers, there are so many new roles now, like in design, marketing, manufacture, sales, customer service, repair, and maintenance. These jobs are all like super dependent on technology, and honestly, they wouldn't even exist without it. But the thing is, the new jobs we're getting are so different from the ones that were lost. Take, for example, jobs like computer engineers or system analysts. They need a college degree, unlike the old school jobs like bank tellers, customer service reps, or clerks that didn't need that much education. The transition to these new jobs is kind kinda tough because it's not just one industry that's changing. It's a huge impact on a lot of fields, which make it harder for people to keep up. Some companies, though, are likely willing to hire people who don't have all the skills. They just want someone who can be trained fast and can work with automated support systems, making everything way more efficient. So, yeah, while computers are creating new, technology heavy jobs, they are also wiping out the old ones. The challenge is that the new roles require more skills or education, and not everyone is ready for that shift. But on the right side, some companies are chill with hiring people without specific skills and training them for the new technology jobs. Software makes decisions that used to require trained, thinking human beings. Computer programs analyze loan applications and decide which to approve. Some programs are better than people at predicting which applicants are likely to default on their loans. Some computer programs write computer programs, reducing the need for training programmers. Software these days is doing things that used to require actual human brains. For example, these computer programs now that instead of people analyze known applications and decide which one should be approved. And to be honest, some of these programs are even better than humans at predicting which applicants might default on their loans. Like, how crazy is that? But it doesn't stop there. Some of these computer programs are actually capable of writing other programs, which means less needs for humans to do the coding. So what does that mean? It means that training or hiring programmers is getting less important because computers can pretty much handle a lot of that work. In short, technology is taking over a lot of tasks that used to require human decision making, and it's making everything more automated and efficient.
Good day, ma'am. I'm Christine Mekoreche. This is the continuation of our report. Some jobs are not impacted by computer much. The Bureau of Labor Statistics expects many jobs to be available that require little, if any computer skills. Areas in which the BL expects the most new jobs are created through 2018 included nursing, home health aid, packaging and delivery, and food preparation and services. Mga trabaho na hindi gaanong naapektuhan ng mga computer. Maraming trabaho ang inaasahang maging available na nangangailangan ng kaunti o walang computer skills. Ayon sa Bureau of Labor Statistics, ang mga lugar na inaasahan ng BLS na magkaroon ng maraming bagong trabaho hanggang 2018 ay kinabibilangan ng nursing, home health and health aid, packaging at delivery, food preparation at services. Ang mga trabahong ito ay hindi gaanong nangangailangan ng computer skills, ngunit may iba pang mga kakayahan para kailangan. Changing skills and skills labels. The Facebook app industry alone accounted for between 180,000 and 235,000 full-time jobs in the US in 2011. The enormous growth of retail sales on the weekend contributed to an increase in jobs in the package shipping industry. Amazon sourced to more than 340k employee, adding more than 110k people in the single year. Industriya ng Facebook app lamang ang nagbibigay ng 180,000 hanggang 235,000 buong trabahong mga trabaho sa US noong 2011. Ang napakalaking paglaki ng pagbinta sa retail sa web ay nakapagdulot ng pagtaas ng mga trabaho sa industriya ng pagpapadala ng mga pakete. Ang Amazon ay umabot sa higit sa 341,000 empleyado, nagdadagdag ng higit sa 110,000 loob ng isang bansa. Ang paglaki ng mga industriya ng teknolohiya ay nagdudulot ng pagbabago sa mga kakayahan at antas ng kakayahan ng mga trabaho. Ang paglaki ng mga industriya ng teknolohiya ay nagdudulot sa mga kakayahan at antas ng kakayahan ng mga trabaho. Ang Facebook app industriya ay nagbibigay ng libo-libong mga trabaho sa US noong 2011. Ang Amazon ay nagpapakita ng paglaki, nagdadagdag ng higit sa 110,000 empleyado sa loob ng isang taon. Telecommuting, working at home using computer electronically led to one place of employment. Mobile office using a laptop, working out of your car, coffee shop or at customer locations. Full-time and part-time telecommuting, independent consultant and contraction. Information entrepreneurs work part-time for different employers or clients. Companies, even big companies, can be located in small towns because their employees can work remotely. One study reported that more than 33 million people in the United States telecommute at least one day per month. The United States Marine Corps began allowing some civil employees to telework from home 2010. Puni sa bahay gamit ang computer na may elektrikong koneksyon sa lugar trabaho. Mobile office gamit ang laptop, nagtatrabaho sa sasakyan, coffee shop o sa mga lokasyon ng mga customer. Buong trabahong part-time, telecommuting, mga independent consultant at kontratista, information entrepreneurs na nagtatrabaho part-time para sa iba't ibang mga employer o kliyente. Ang benepisyo ng telecommuting, mas maraming oras para sa pamilya at personal na buhay, mas mababang gastos sa pagpunta sa trabaho, mas maraming produktibidad at flexibility, mas mababang stress at pagod. Ang telecommuting, ito ay isang paraan ng pagtatrabaho na kung saan ang mga empleyado ay nagtatrabaho sa kanilang mga bahay o iba pang mga lokasyon na hindi sa kanilang mga opisina. Telecommuting benefits reduces overhead of employers, reduces needs for large offices, Employees are more productive, satisfied, and loyal. It saves time for workers can use to exercise, sleep, or more interaction with friends and families. Reduces traffic, congestion, pollution, gasoline use, and stress. Reduces expenses for commuting and money spent on work clothes. Allows work to continue after blizzards, hurricanes, etc. Improves productive data entry showed productivity gain of 15%. 58% women-owned businesses are home-based businesses. It can help reduce child care expenses and give parents more time within their children. A person can accept a job with a company in the distant state without having to move. Nababawasan ang gastos sa opisina para sa mga employer. Hindi na kailangan na malaking opisina. Mas produktibo, masaya at tapat na mga empleyado. Nakatipid sa oras para sa ehersisyo, tulog o pagkikita sa kaibigan at pamilya. Nababawasan ang trapiko, polusyon, paggamit ng gasolina at stress. Pananalapi. Nababawasan ang gastos sa pagpunta-punta sa mga trabaho. Nababawasan ang gastos sa damit pang-opisina. Nakakapagpatuloy ng trabaho kahit may mga kalamidad tulad ng bagyo o blizzards. Nakakataas ng produktibidad, 15% ang naitalang pagtaas sa produktibidad sa data entry. Ang trabaho sa bahay ay nagbibigay ng maraming benepisyo sa mga empleyado, employer at sa lipunan. Commuting problems, cost for office space has shifted to the employee. Being at home with the children is advantage for some telecommuters but distraction for others. The employee who must give up space at home for the office. For some telecommuting employees, corporation loyalty weaknesses, lacking immediate supervision, some people are less productive. Old workers working from home can lead to social isolation and low morale. Employers are retirement from those who have to work in the office. Security risk when work and personal activities reside on the same computer. Ang gastos sa espasyo ng opisina ay napapasa sa empleyado. Ang pagiging kasama ng mga anak sa bahay ay maraming maging pakinabang para sa iba, ngunit distraction naman para sa iba. Kailangan gumawa ng espasyo sa bahay para sa opisina. Para sa ilang empleyado, ang katapatan sa korporasyon ay nababawasan. Ang kakulangan ng direktang ay maaaring magdudulot ng pagbaba at produktibidad. Side effects: working from home is not a new trend. Even the past few centuries, working at home has not been uncommon. Writers traditionally work at home. Farmers work in the fields, but the farm office was in the house. Doctors, especially in small towns, had their medical offices in their homes. Shopkeepers often had a part-time behind or above the store. They did not have a installation problem. Writers spent the evenings at coffee houses or at intellectual salons talking with other intellectuals. They lived, worked, and socialized in communities. Telecommuting may encourage a return to involvement in one's local community. A vitality of the community that is the less likely to develop when one returns home after dark, tired from a daily of the office. Ay hindi bagong konsepto sa nakalipas na mga siglo. Mga manunulat, magsasaka, doktor at mga nagtinda, na nagtatrabaho sa kanilang mga bahay. Hindi sila nagkakaroon ng problema sa pagkakahiwa-hiwalay dahil may mga dahilan. Una, mayroong natural na nakikipag-ugnayan sa komunidad. Nagpupunta sa mga publikong lugar tulad ng coffee shops. Mayroong balansing buhay sa trabaho at sosyal. A global workplace outsourcing phenomenon where a company pays to give another company for services instead of performing those tasks itself. Offshoring, the practice of moving businesses, processes, or services to other countries, especially overseas, to reduce costs. Especially in Asia, the difference in wage rates was large enough to make up for the extra transportation cost. The internet reduced transportation cost for many kinds of information work to the almost zero. Processing and computer programming were among the first services jobs to go offshoring, many to India. The movie of customer services, call centers, and software help desk to India and other countries. Also, back office jobs such as payroll processing, ensuring where another company employs thousands of people in the US. Offshoring for a German company means ensuring for US. Almost 5% of US workers were employed by foreign companies. Outsourcing, ang phenomenon kung saan isang kumpanya para sa mga serbisyo imbis na gawin ang mga gawain mismo. Ang offshoring naman, ang paglipat ng mga proseso ng negosyo o serbisyo sa ibang bansa, lalo na sa ibang bansa, upang mabawasan ang mga gastos. Pagkakaiba sa mga rate ng sahod ay sapat sa malaki upang mapunan ang mga karagdagang gastos sa transportasyon. Ang internet ay nagpapababa ng mga gastos sa transportasyon para sa maraming uri ng trabaho sa impormasyon hanggang almost zero. Data processing at computer programming, unang mga serbisyo na lumipat sa ibang bansa, lalo na sa India. Customer service, call center at software, help desk, lumipat sa India at iba pang office. Back office jobs, ito tulad ng payroll processing, lumipat sa ibang bansa. Ensuring ng ibang kumpanya ay nag-empleyado ng libo-libong tao sa US. Offshoring para sa isang German company ay ensuring para sa US. Outshoring at offshoring ay mga paraan ng pagtatrabaho na kung saan ang mga kumpanya ay nagbabayad ng ibang kumpanya o lumilipat sa ibang bansa upang mabawasan ang mga gastos. A global workforce, offshoring is due to many factors: financial and efficient skilled workers in the United States. Companies send off work in the legal services, aircrafts, engineering, biotech, and pharmaceutical research and stock analysis and other financial services. Steve Jobs told President Obama in 2011 that Apple had 700,000 factory workers in China because 330,000 engineers are needed inside in the factories, and Apple cannot find enough qualified engineers in the United States. Efficient skilled workers sa Estados Unidos at kakulangan ng mga eksperto sa mga larangan tulad ng mga serbisyo sa batas at inheriya sa eroplano, pananaliksik sa biotech at parmasyutiko at pagsusuri ng stock at iba pang serbisyo pinansyal. At mga dahilan ng offshoring is pagtaas ng produktibidad, pagbawas ng gastos at pagkakaroon ng akses sa mga kakayahan at teknolohiya at pagtaas ng kompetisyon sa global market. Problems and side effects of offshoring. Many social scientists, politicians, and organizations view the globalization of the workforce as a terribly negative phenomenon. One of the negative results of information and communication technology and cooperation create for the increased profit. Consumer complaint about customer services representatives because accents are different to understand. Employees in US companies needs job for skills managing working for the foreign colleges. Increasing demand for high skills workers in other countries forces salaries up. Kailangan ng bagong kasanayan sa trabaho, pamamahala, pakikipagtulungan sa dayuhan, paggawa sa seguridad sa trabaho at pagbabago sa kakayahan ng trabaho at pagkakaroon ng tensyon sa pagitan ng mga bansa. Pagtaas ng kahirapan sa mga bansang nagpapadala ng trabaho at pagkakaroon ng problema sa kalusugan at kapakanan ng mga trabaho at ang pagbuo ng programa sa pagsasanay para sa mga empleyado, pagtatag ng mga patakaran sa offshoring. Americans are working for foreign companies. Japanese car maker built cars in the United States. The German software company Soft employs thousands of people in the United States. People in the United States are work for Sony, Inca, Bayer, Novartis, Unilever, Toyota. The United States is an exporter of services, banking, engineering, accounting. Offshoring is likely to help more jobs on all sides. The need for new job skills encourages flexibility, planning, and changes in educational programs. Ang mga Amerikano ay nagtatrabaho para sa mga banyagang kumpanya. Halimbawa, ang mga Japanese car makers ay nagbuo ng mga sasakyan sa Estados Unidos ay ang German software company na ASAP ay may libu-libong empleyado sa bansa. May mga tao ring nagtatrabaho para sa mga kumpanya tulad ng Sony, Bayer, Novartis, Unilever at Toyota sa Estados Unidos. Ethics of hiring foreign workers. We apply some of the ethical theories from Chapter 1 to analyze the practice from an ethical perspective. Ang pag-hire ng mga dayuhang manggagawa ay isang usapin na may malalim na etika. Maaaring magdudulot ito ng mga benepisyo tulad ng pagbibigay ng trabaho sa mga taong nangangailangan nito, pagbaba ng mga gastos sa paggawa at pagpapalawak ng mga oportunidad sa negosyo. Ngunit maaari rin itong magdulot ng negatibong epekto sa mga lokal na manggagawa na maaaring mawalan ng trabaho.
Employee communication and monitoring. Learning about job applicants. The web and social media provide new means of information collection on job applicants' employers. Search online news, groups, and social networks for racist remarks, references to drugs, sexually explicit material, displays of weapons or bombs, and violent activity. Higher data collection agencies use a variety of screening methods to efficiently reduce a large pool of applicants to a reasonable number. But there is also private information, race, religion. Mark Rottenberg, president of the Electronic Privacy Information Center, expressed the view of employers should not be judging what people in their private lives do away from the workplace. Some job seekers attempt to clean up their online persona. Search companies can have a policy that they perform social media searches only in the applicant consent. So, sa mga employer, ang paggamit ng web at social media para mag-alap ng impormasyon tungkol sa mga aplikante sa trabaho. Maring tignan nila ang mga online platform para sa mga hindi angkop na nilalaman tulad ng mga racist na pahayag, references sa droga, o marahas na kilos. Ang ilan sa mga employer ay kumukuha rin ng mga ahensya para sa pangangalap ng impormasyon upang makatulong sa pagsusuri ng mga aplikante. Gayunpaman, may mga alalahanin tungkol sa privacy dahil maaaring ma-access ng mga employer ang mga personal na detalye tulad ng lahi o reliyon. Ayon kay Mark Rothenberg ng Electronic Privacy Information Center, hindi dapat husgahan ng mga employer ang pribadong buhay ng isang tao. Labas sa trabaho, ang ilang job seekers ay nagsisikap linisin ang kanilang online na profile at ang ilang kumpanya ay nagsasagawa lamang ng social media search kung pumayag ang aplikante. So next is verifying workers. It is illegal for an employer in the United States to hire an illegal immigrant or a legal immigrant without legal authority to work. E-Verify uses data from the Social Security Administration and the Department of Homeland Security or DHS. E-Verify is not mandatory. Approximately 200,000 employers use E-Verify. The system incorrectly rejects 0.3% whom it later approves after a process to correct the error. Inconsistencies in the spelling of names cause rejections. Approximately 60 million people in the United States change jobs or enter the workforce every year. An error rate of 0.3% incorrect initial rejections would affect 180,000 people who are legal workers each year. Privacy issues must widely accessible databases or private information. Sa US, illegal para sa mga employer na kumuha ng mga imigrante ng walang legal na ipahintulot na magtrabaho. Ang E-Verify ay isang sistema na nag-check ng pagiging karapat-dapat sa trabaho gamit ang mga datos mula sa Social Security Administration at Department of Homeland Security. Bagaman hindi ito mandatoryo, tinatayang 200,000 employer ang gumagamit nito. Gayunpaman, may maliit na error rate ang sistema na nagre-reject ng 0.3% ng mga aplikante dahil sa mga issue tulad ng maling baybay ng pangalan. Ito ay maaaring makaapekto sa mga 180,000 legal na manggagawa bawat taon. May mga alalahanin tungkol sa privacy dahil ang sistema ay umaasa sa mga malalawak na access na database ng pribadong impormasyon. Risks and rules for work and personal communications. Employee monitoring is not new. Employers have always monitored their employees. The degree of detail and frequency of monitoring has varied depending upon kind of work, economic factors, and available technology. Time clocks and logs. Early monitoring was mostly blue-collar, factory, and pink-collar telephone and clerical jobs. Bosses patrolled the aceless watching workers' output counts at the end of the day. Now monitoring can be constant, more detailed, and unseen by the worker. The supervisors can remotely observe the computer screens of the workers they supervise. Ang pagmamatsyag sa mga empleyado ay hindi isang bagong gawain. Palagi nang sinubaybayan ng mga employer ang kanilang mga manggagawa at ang antas ng pagmamatsyag ay depende sa uri ng trabaho, mga salik pang-ekonomiya at magagamit na teknolohiya. Noong nakaraan, ang pagmamatsyag ay karaniwang sa mga trabaho sa pabrika at clerical, kung saan ang mga amo ay nagmamasid o tinitignan ang araw-araw na output. Ngayon, ang pagmamatsyag ay maaaring tuloy-tuloy, mas detalyado at madalas na hindi nakikita ng mga manggagawa. Maaari na ngayong malauyuan, obserbahan ng mga supervisor ang mga computer screens ng kanilang mga empleyado. Separating or merging work and personal communications. Employers often prohibit employees from using their work email computers and other devices for personal use. What about employees using personal email accounts, social media, laptops, smartphones, and other devices for work. Security of company information and operations. When an employee leaves the company for any reason, the employer cannot demand that he or she turn over a personal phone or tablet, even though it likely contains confidential client information and company files. In government agencies, email is part of the official record and is subject to public disclosure. Some government officials use their personal email specifically to keep communication of the record. Paghiwalay o pagsasama ng trabaho at personal na komunikasyon. Madalas ipinagbabawal ng mga employer ang paggamit ng mga work email, computer at iba pang kagamitan para sa personal na gamit ng mga empleyado. Paano naman kung ang mga empleyado ay gumagamit ng kanilang personal na email accounts, social media, laptop, smartphone at iba pang kagamitan para sa trabaho? Seguridad ng impormasyon at operasyon ng kumpanya. Kapag umalis ang isang empleyado mula sa kumpanya, hindi maaaring pilitin ng employer na ipasa ang personal na telepono o tablet ng empleyado kahit na ito ay maaaring naglalaman ng mga kumpidensyal na impormasyon ng kliyente at ang mga file ng kumpanya. Sa mga ahensyang pamahalaan, ang email ay bahagi ng opisyal na record at maaaring ipahayag sa publiko. Ang ilan sa mga opisyal ng gobyerno ay gumagamit ng kanilang personal na email upang maiwasan ang pagiging opisyal ng mga komunikasyon. Monitoring employer systems. Roughly half of major companies in US sometimes monitor the email or voicemail of their employees on company systems. Most companies monitor infrequently, some routinely intercept all emails. Reasons vary. Protect security or proprietary information and data. Prevent or investigate possible criminal activities by employees such as embezzlement. Check for violations of company policy against sending offensive or pornographic messages. Investigate complaints of harassments. Comply with legal requirements in heavily regulated industries. Prevent personal use of employer facilities if prohibited by company policy. Locate employees. Find needed business information when the employee is not available. Tinatayang kalahati ng mga malalaking kumpanya sa US ay minomonitor ang mga email o voicemail ng kanilang mga empleyado sa mga sistema ng kumpanya, habang karamihan sa mga kumpanya ay minomonitor paminsan-minsan ang iba ay regular na tinitingnan ang lahat ng email. Ang mga dahilan ng pagmamatsyag ay kinakabilang ng pagpoprotekta sa data ng kumpanya, pagpigil o imbestigasyon ng mga kriminal na gawin tulad ng embezzlement, pagsigurado sa pagsusunod sa mga pulisya laban sa nakakasakit na nilalaman, imbestigahan ang mga reklamo ng harassment, pagtupad ng mga legal na pangangailangan, pagpipigil sa personal na paggamit ng mga posibilidad ng kumpanya, paghahanap ng mga empleyado at pagkuha ng mga kinakailangang impormasyon sa negosyo kapag hindi available ang empleyado. Law and Case for Employer Systems. Electronic Communication Privacy Act or ECPA prohibits interception of email and reading stored emails without a court order but makes an exception for business system. Courts put heavy weight of the fact that computers, mail, and phone system are owned by the employer who provides them for business purposes. In addition, courts generally allow employers to look at messages an employee sends or receives on personal email accounts if the employee uses the employer's computer system or mobile device to do so. In a few cases, court ruled against an employer for reading email sent at work but on a personal account between an employee and the employee's attorney. The long-standing principle of attorney-client privilege protects such as correspondence, but violated the policy that prohibits personal use of the company system. Ang Electronic Communication Privacy Act or ECPA ay nagbabawal sa pag-intercept ng mga email at pagbabasa ng mga nakaimbak na email na walang court order. Ngunit may exception para sa mga business systems. Binibigyang diin ng mga korte na dahil ang mga employer ay may-ari ng mga computer, mail at phone systems, maaari nilang i-monitor ang mga mensahe na ipinadala o natanggap sa mga sistemang iyon. Pinapayagan din ng mga employer na suriin ang mga personal na email kung ipinadala gamit ang mga kagamitan ng kumpanya. Gayunpaman, sa ilang mga kaso, nagpasya ang mga korte laban sa employer dahil sa pagbabasa ng mga work email na ipinadala mula sa personal na account, lalo na kung ang mga email ay pagitan ng empleyado at kanilang abogado, dahil ang attorney-client privilege ay nagpoprotekta sa mga komunikasyong ito. Gayunpaman, nilalabag nito ang mga pulisya ang kumpanya ukol sa personal na paggamit ng mga sistema. Employees do not give up all privacy when they enter an employer's premises. The bathrooms belong to the employer too, but camera surveillance in bathrooms is not acceptable. Courts have ruled against monitoring done to snoop on personal and union activities or to track down whistleblowers. Workers have a legal right to communicate with others about work conditions. Work decisions sometimes depend on whether an employee had a reasonable expectations of privacy. Many employers have privacy policies regarding email and voicemail. The National Labor Relations Board, NLRB, sets rules and decides cases about worker-employers relations. May karapatan pa rin sa privacy ang mga empleyado kahit na sila ay nasa lugar ng employer. Halimbawa na lang, habang ang mga banyo ay pag-aari ng employer, hindi pinapayagan ang pag-install ng mga kamera doon. Nagpasya ang mga korte laban sa pagmamatsyag sa mga personal o union na gawain o sa pagsubok hanapin ang mga whistleblower. May legal na karapatan ang mga manggagawa na pag-uusapan ang mga kondisyon sa trabaho sa isa't isa. Ang mga desisyon ng korte ay madalas nakasalalay sa kung ang empleyado ay may makatwirang expectation o privacy. Karaniwan may mga privacy policy ang mga employer tungkol sa email at voicemail at dapat ipaalam ng employer kung paano harapin ang mga personal na mensahe na ipinadala gamit ang kagamitan ng kumpanya. Ang National Labor Relations Board or NLRB ay nangangasiwa sa relasyon ng mga manggagawa at employer at gumawa ng mga desisyon sa mga kasong may kinalaman dito. Personal social media. Basing disciplinary actions on personal non-work social media is more controversial because it extends employer control beyond the workplace. Content in social media is often widely distributed, thus impact is stronger than that of a private conversation. Employer restrictions on non-work social media do not violate employees' freedom of speech. Employers prohibit various kinds of speech, for example, disparaging the employer or its customer in public. These are conditions of the job. They do not violate the First Amendment unless, in some cases, with the employer is the government. So, ang mga hakbang ng disiplinaryo batay sa personal na social media ay controversial dahil pinapalawak nito ang kontrol ng employer sa labas ng lugar ng trabaho. Karaniwang malawak ang pagkalat ng nilalaman sa social media, kaya't mas malakas ang epekto nito kumpara sa isang pribadong pag-uusap. Maring magtakda ang mga employer ng mga patakaran sa social media na hindi nauugnay sa trabaho nang hindi nilalabag ang kalayaan sa pagpapahayag ng empleyado. Halimbawa, maaari nilang ipagbawal ang mga negatibong pahayag tungkol sa kumpanya o ang customer nito. Ang mga patakarang ito ay bahagi ng mga kondisyon sa trabaho at hindi lumalabag sa unang amendment maliban na lamang kung ang employer ay gobyerno. So we have here a discussion questions. So first, it is reasonable for employers to fire employees for content of their blog, tweets, or post on social networks. And the second one is, are there good reasons for employers to be concerned about what their employees post in such places? So sa unang tanong, ang sagot dito ay oo. Maaari itong ituring na makatarungan para sa mga employer na tanggalin ang mga empleyado dahil sa nilalaman ng kanilang mga blog, tweet o post sa social media, lalo na kung ang nilalaman ay lumalabag sa mga patakaran ng kumpanya, nakakasira sa reputasyon ng kumpanya o nagbubunyag ng mga lihim na impormasyon. May karapatan ng mga employer na protektahan ang kanilang interes sa negosyo, imahe ng brand at ang kapaligiran sa trabaho. May mga valid na dahilan kung bakit dapat mag-alala ang mga employer tungkol sa kung ano ang ipinapak-skill ng kanilang mga empleyado sa social media. Una na lamang dito ay ang reputasyon. Ang mga hindi angkop na post ay maaaring makasira sa imahe ng kumpanya o magdulot ng pampublikong pagbatikos. Ang pangalawa naman ay pagiging lihim. Maaaring aksidenteng mailabas ng mga empleyado ang sensitibong impormasyon sa kumpanya. At ang pangatlo ay kapaligiran sa trabaho. Ang mga post na nakakasakit o nagdudulot ng diskriminasyon ay maaaring magdulot ng toxic na kapaligiran sa trabaho. At ang last ay mga legal na panganib. Ang mga nakakasakit o mapanirang post ay maaaring magdulot ng mga legal na epekto ng kumpanya. At sa pangalawang tanong, ang sagot ay kadalasan may mga patakaran ang mga employer tungkol sa social media upang matiyak na ang online na pag-uugali ng mga empleyado ay tumugma sa mga laga at profesional na pamantayan ng kumpanya. So next is monitoring location and equipment usage. Employers supply smartphones to employees, allow monitoring of employee movement. Building inspectors in Massachusetts refused the phones, calling them an invasion of privacy. Long-haul trucks are fitted with GPS. Companies can use data on speed at rest periods to ensure that drivers follow safety rules. Electronic identification badges that serve as door keys provide increased security, and nurses in some hospitals wear badges that track their location. Supervisors can locate nurses quickly in emergencies. Should employer policies permit employees to turn off locating devices when they are on a break? So that's a question. So karaniwang nagbibigay ang mga employer ng mga smartphone or GPS systems at electronic badges upang subaybayan ang galaw ng mga empleyado at tiyakin ang kaligtasan o seguridad. Halimbawa, sinusubaybayan ang mga truck driver upang bantayan ang kanilang bilis at oras ng paghinga, habang ang mga nurse ay nagsusuot ng mga badges upang matukoy ang kanilang lokasyon sa oras ng mga emergency. Gayunpaman, may mga empleyado tulad ng mga building inspector na tumatanggi dahil dito tinitingnan nila ito bilang isang pagsalakay ng kanilang privacy. Isang karaniwang tanong ay kung dapat ba pahintulutan ng mga employer na mga empleyado na patayin ang mga device na nagtatakda ng lokasyon kapag sila ay nag-break upang mapanatili ang kanilang privacy habang hindi nagtatrabaho. Ito ay isang usapin na balansing pangailangan ng employer para sa seguridad at karapatan ng empleyado sa privacy. So the last is, meron tayong ditong discussion questions. So how much privacy is reasonable for an employee to accept in the workplace? That's the first question. And the second one is, under what circumstances is it appropriate for an employer to read an employee emails? Sa unang tanong, ang sagot ay karaniwang may karapatan ng mga empleyado sa isang makatwirang antas ng privacy sa lugar ng trabaho. Ngunit ito ay kabilang balansihin sa karapatan ng employer na magmonitor para sa seguridad, produktibidad at pagsunod sa mga patakaran. Maaaring asahan ang mga empleyado na ang privacy sa lugar tulad ng mga banyo, mga personal na pag-uusapan at mga personal na gamit. Ngunit kapag gumamit ng mga device o sistema ng kumpanya tulad ng email, computer o telepono, mas limitado ang inaasahan ng privacy. Karaniwang may karapatan ng mga employer na mag-monitor ng mga tools na ito, lalo na kung may mga patakaran na alam ng mga empleyado. Sa pangalawang tanong, ang sagot ay karaniwang angkop para sa employer na basihan ng email ng isang empleyado sa ilang mga pagkakataon, tulad ng kapag ang email ay ipinadala gamit ang mga device o sistema ng kumpanya. Karaniwang may karapatan ng mga employer na i-monitor ang mga komunikasyon na may kinalaman sa trabaho sa kabilang mga sistema. So that's end of my report. Thank you, ma'am.